Thank you.
Hi, Natasha. How are you?
Hi, Tom. Fine, thank you.
You good? Sounds like you've had a few technical issues this morning.
Yes, I do.
Well, I'll basically try and make it as simple as possible for you, so it's not too technical. I just want to obviously go through a bit about Playforce and explain to you who we are and what we do.
Okay.
If that's okay.
That's fine.
What I'll do is I'll share my screen with you so you can see a presentation we put there. Let's get this up and running. Okay. So here you go. So obviously, my name's Tom from Playforce, and obviously we're here to talk about the effective PE and sports medium within schools. So obviously, as Playforce, we create fantastic outdoor spaces, sports areas, for example, as shown in this picture. Playforce have been market leaders for over 20 years in the industry, as experience as manufacturers installation team play equipment in schools. We're also members of the API, Associated Play Industry Playgrounds, which is the governing body of the play industry. And we have a huge experienced team that helps design and deliver exciting, tailored outdoor spaces to meet your school needs with an educational focus. We're also part of a very large company called ID, and over 4,000 employees across Europe within that. Some examples of some of the things that we can do: multi-use games areas. For example, here is card for grass to a 4G specification with cut-in lines. This is one school we did in London, and it really transforms the space and makes a fantastic use of that.
Tom,
area.
Can I interrupt you? I've just seen we've only got 5 minutes, and I'm sorry, obviously, because I had issues coming in. Is there anything? We're a special needs school, so gross motor movement. That's it. Gross motor movement's really key.
Yes.
So okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, so gross motor skills, etc. We have physical items such as these pieces of equipment that are great for upper body strength and putting the children up, and obviously tower units, for example, that I showed you a second ago. There's plenty of bits of equipment that we can do, both steel and timber. We can do a free design consultation service for you. A consultant will come out and see you and go through the actual things. So if that is a requirement for you, then we could get someone out there to have a look at your space and make it work for you.
Okay.
Different types of services as well. So, sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, I just saw the 150. So that's for maintenance for the entire year.
Oh yeah,
£150. Yeah.
That's right. Yes, so that's an inspection and maintenance packages we can do. So obviously the various different packages we can do on that as well. So so various different things to help you on that and different services. As you can see here, wet pour, grass, different shelters, for example, all these sorts of things we can install to help create a fantastic all-inclusive space. And physical play examples, like I say, this tower unit, fantastic gross motor skills. Also, think we put panels on there where they use their finer motor skills as well, so they can actually turn things around or write on chalkboards, for example. All these sorts of things to help. So these are very, very robust pieces of equipment. We install quite a few of these sorts of things into special needs schools as well, where let's say it's a case where they can just release some energy and have a real physical and play there. Just a couple of testimonies from other schools that we've been with. And just to show you a quick video. It's a very, very quick one. I'll fast forward a little bit for you. Just of a school that we've done. A school we've done some plans for to show you what we can do to sort of visualise an area for you and bring it to life.
Oh wow!
So you can do these kind of designs. That's what we could do for you as part of our service, creating a physical area, and that's obviously a woodland area. This is more moving on to more an early years space here, reception wise. In terms of physical spaces, we can do the multi-use games areas, I'll show you in a second as well. And then various different pieces. Keep it on long for you because I know you're tight for time. So again, physical items like this, net climbers and embankment climbers, so you can climb up the nets. Shelter spaces, obviously get out the sunshine, and creating sports areas if you have a space that you can utilise for that. This just gives you an idea of what we can create to help you move forward and create a fantastic
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's all right, no problem.
Whittle down to 5. Okay.
That's okay.
So what happens? Like, do we just get your guys' details? Do you email us at the end? What happens? Just that in terms if there was follow up.
Yes. So,
do you want me to jump in there, Tom?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, go for it.
Have you got the survey open there, Natasha?
Let's have a look.
Bear with me. What I'll do, I'll send it in the chat, so you should be able to see. Can you see the chat screen?
Yes, I've got it there. Okay.
Brilliant. So if you just open that, it'll open in a separate browser window, and then at the end of every conversation, every workshop, it'll have a little question saying
right. Okay.
Do you want further information from the provider? If you tick yes to that, they get all of your contact details in order to follow up. If you tick no, they just get your ratings and contact details. So it's important that if you do want information, that you kind of tick yes for that. That's the end of the first session, by the way. So I'm just going to.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
Brilliant. Natasha, if you want to take my email address, it's right there on the screen for you as well. So if you want to jot me down.
Okay. Let me just give me a second. Tom.dean. Okay, super. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot then. Take care.
All right then. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Good luck, Tom.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. That was a quick one.
Very quick. Whistle stop tour.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
So the next providers are now moving in now. There we go.
Is it just a one-to-one session on each one? Sorry,
it is, yes. Yeah, it is, Natasha. So there's 4 more to go. And I will leave you in the capable hands of Richard.
Hello.
Oh, I think Natasha might have just dropped. She was having technical issues joining us, Richard. So she may, I think her internet connection's a bit spotty.
Oh, no.
So hopefully she'll be back shortly. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we are.
Welcome back, Natasha.
Oh, Natasha, you are on mute. Can you hear me okay?
I can. I'm just being a bit of a Luddite this morning. Sorry.
Oh, no, don't worry. It's fine. How are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm fine, thank you. You all right?
Yeah, good, thanks. Are you on half term?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird week, isn't it?
It is.
So we apologise. So at the start, I forget his name. Was it Damien? Yeah, Damien was just saying about like one of the reasons why you might or chosen to do something like this, or maybe you've been volunteered to do it. I don't know quite.
No, I chose to do it.
Oh, well done, excellent. That's what we like, active participation. Was about the school sports premium, and perhaps there's a question mark on the kind of things that you can spend it on. And I know in the past that just a little bit about myself. I'm a primary school teacher, and I was a PE lead for a few years in my last primary school. And we went down the coach route at the beginning before I was PE lead. And there isn't anything wrong with that as long as you are really building in like that sustainability part of it. But I think a lot of schools ended up or some teachers would just palm it off, and then because it's not their forte, and then get other stuff done. So I don't quite know what your history is of the school sports partnership. School sports premium money. But I know that when I first started with 5 a day just over a year ago, I was just surprised that so many schools were struggling to spend it, because in my school, as soon as it came in, it had gone. Like, there wasn't a lot left over. You used to get a little bit of equipment. It used to be spent. And I know there's different amounts. And our school had quite high needs, so I was surprised to hear that, really. So yeah, welcome to 5 a day. I'm hoping to take you through. I do have a PowerPoint, which I didn't get into the last one, which I think it's kind of better, really. What I thought I'd do is I'll show you the website and kind of explain to you what it is, and so you can kind of experience it. I mean, I promise I'm not going to get you to. It's 5-minute fitness routines, but we call them routines rather than the dance that you'll see, because it's actually kind of movement and but I promise I'm not going to get you to join in. And actually, I can't see you anyway.
You wouldn't see me anyway, so
you might be joining in.
I'll pretend that I'm doing it.
I'm going to pretend that you're doing it too. Okay. You might see me joining every now and again because I can't help it. Carly, who created this about 12 years ago, she's a qualified PE teacher for a secondary school. So she's got like the physiological part like down to a T. She kind of understands the theory, maybe more than what most like primary school teachers would, because we're specialists in everything, aren't we, as a primary school teacher? And we have our own interests. So for me, it was great because I loved PE, so it just made sense for me to be a PE leader. Whereas for some people, in some schools, it kind of gets forced upon them because you're either from a small school, or perhaps it's just a case of it's something you need to lead on and take it forward. It's not always a passion. So we're really lucky that we've got Carly. I came on board about a year ago because I met Carly through a friend, and we kind of I looked at the website and the resources, and I was like, I can see how it just needs to have a primary head to have a look at stuff, to bring it back to the curriculum a little bit more, because although it is lovely, you'll see what I mean when I show you. So I'm going to jump into that now.
Okay.
Just remake. Oh, I can't do the sound, but the sound did work, so that's okay. So this is 5-a-day fitness. It's very much like a Netflix type approach, really. So we have our five-minute fitness videos at the very top. We have 26 in total, and they're all themed. So they all take a different theme. Now, some of these are actually 12 years old because it's how they were first recorded. So the ones that are older, they're still fun to do, but they're not as quite of 12 years ago in the advancement of technology and cameras. They're not quite as high def as some at the front. We also move our most popular ones to the front. So superheroes is the number one hit. DIY and fresh are also up there. At this time of year, we've got a spooky one, which gets loads of hits this time of year too. Maybe not when you go back because it's all over by then. So this is what you look. I'm going to use DIY as a example.
Hello everybody, welcome to 5-a-day. Are you ready for some DIY? Here we go. Drive the van. And reverse. Hammer right.
So what we do is we obviously create the routines ourselves. It's choreographed by Carly and a couple of her dancer friends. But we also write the music. And the idea being is that we know it's appropriate for school-aged children, like you're not going to get any like surprises in there. Sometimes I was at Bet last year, and a couple of people said, well, we just use YouTube. And there isn't anything wrong with that, because you can, obviously teachers will cast an eye over what they're going to show the children before it obviously goes on there. But you can't control the adverts, and sometimes it's the adverts that trip you over. I know that's happened to me before, where it's not so much they're always inappropriate, but just sort of like to watch. But sometimes the music they choose isn't brilliant, and you might get the odd lyric that might have a hidden meaning, which I may or may not have been caught out in a school assembly once or twice before. So we try to make sure that everything that we do is all and above board. I mean, the other element to it is that there's obviously no copyright issues there either, because it's all written and licensed by us. It's obviously kinesthetic learning because we're up moving around, but also we put the instructional language in too, so the children can hear what they're about to do before they see it, so they can get ready. I'll just try and hit as many different sort of learning styles as we can. I'm just going to back out of this one. They're also differentiated. So we can see when we hover over, you can see the name and then the difficulty. What this really means, because all the moves are relatively easy, it's just how quick they come along. So often it's about speed rather than how complex the move is. Like if we look at Fresh, it's 5-star. It's just a little bit quicker. There's no reason why like your Key Stage 1 would be great at DIY and the superheroes with a low difficulty level, but they could easily just as well join in with Fresh. They just might be a little bit behind some of the moves. Not that there's anything really wrong with that, as long as they're having fun. But it's just worth noting that that's there to help out.
Richard, sorry, can I just interrupt for a quick sec? We're at a special needs school, so we have students with a range of physical abilities.
Sure.
So do you have things that would be for those students who would be more sensory based, and they would be needing the physical and gross motor development, but at the same time, they may not be as agile and adept at physical needs?
Yeah, we do, and we have special schools subscribe to us already, and what they do is just adapt it to their needs. So there's no, like, for example, how we kind of promoting it at the moment is that you can do this where you sit. You don't really have to get up and move around too much. You can just do it either stood behind your chair, or if you are in a wheelchair user, you could do some of these moves in the wheelchair too. You might need to adapt the space slightly for that to happen. But it's definitely doable. I mean, I could even get you in contact with there's a special school in London that use it, and they're really they do absolutely love it, to the point where we'd love to get a promotional video so that we can show how it's used differently in different schools. And they've invited us in to do some work with them, but obviously that's off the cards at the moment. We can't do anything about that yet. The other, I'll take you down, because this might be as well from a sensory point of view. We do the time to chill channel.
Okay.
So these are 2-minute mindfulness, although I often bear in mind that I've not got in trouble, but it's worth noting that some religious schools are against the word mindfulness because it's about emptying your mind. So it's like mindful breathing and mindful action. So it's a lot calmer. And if I show you one, because it'll make it easier for you to see.
Hello everybody, welcome to Time to Chill. Take a deep breath in and out. Stretch up with your right arm. Rise up onto your toes.
So you can see, like, even though we've got, this is Chev, our royal ballet dancer, he's standing up. There's no reason why you couldn't do the fast of that in like sat in a seat, because really the main part of this is staying grounded and just focusing on the breathing and being in the moment, which is what mindfulness is all about. So that's time to chill. I think that's the golden nugget for me. Like, when I first started a year ago, my last 2 years of primary school, I ran a nurture group, and I know we did a lot of mindfulness and grounding, and I would have loved something like this to have guided me through, because I ended up doing a lot of guided stories and almost like meditation and writing, and which was still lovely, but to have kind of something like this would have been amazing. So it's something which I know we'd love to grow. I know we're going to run out of time soon, so I'm going to. What we've done. It's
quite quick, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You don't realise, do you, how quickly it goes? We have converted our fitness routines, our movement routines, into French, Spanish, and weirdly Welsh, because when we showed this to some Welsh schools, they said, "Oh, we'd love this in Welsh." So we've converted some to that too. But we've also got the difficulty part of this is just related to the movement and the speed, like I said earlier. But we have differentiated it. So I'm going to use Bollywood French. You've got dual language, you've got the target language, or just nothing at all. So I'm going to show you the dual one just to kick that one off.
Bonjour, bienvenue sur
You have both languages on screen. And so this is my favourite one to receive when we get tagged on things on Twitter. I love the language ones because you often need to hear the children saying it along with and you can stage it down as well. So you can take the English away and just leave the language, or take it all the way and see if they can start to remember. And really, it's just about practice and repetition, just with these key phrases. And obviously, it's not going to teach them French or Spanish, but it's going to keep them active maybe before the French lesson or after the French lesson. So. Yeah, I do like, and this is easy for us to build as well. I think we've got about 12 in French and 7 in Spanish.
And it's a fun way for them to reinforce their language, what they have learned already anyway.
Exactly, and just to practice saying phrases, how it kind of feels in the mouth when you're moving your tongue, and how it's different to when you're talking English. Just those like silly things which perhaps we don't appreciate when we just speak our own language. Okay, I know we've got a minute left. Have you got any questions? I know it's a bit of a bombardment. I apologise.
No, it's fine. I suppose from my point of view, the time to chill, but then because we do Yotism at school, in a lot of our PE lessons and things, because that's what and they actually respond very well.
Yeah.
But then we've got students who I think the fitness part would be really fun
Sure.
for them to be able to do. Is this accessible, especially with remote learning and things, schools, is that something that parents can sign into a portal, or you can send links or put it on your website or something? Or?
Yeah, we do. We have pupil home access. So they you share a home access with your families.
Okay.
And so you have a separate one for your school people to log in. It's only one login that's shared between all the adults.
Okay.
And there'll be one login and password that's shared with all your family, so they can log in at home.
Okay. Thank you.
But there's a free trial as well. So if you wanted to sign up, if you just go to the website, which I'm sure it's all shared at the end, I think if you click you're interested, then just sign up and have a go and make contact with us, because we can offer discounts and deals, and we'll try and help you out whichever way we can.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Right. Lovely.
All right, then. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Good luck.
No problem.
The next session should start shortly.
That one for now.
Hi, Paul. Natasha was in this room. She was speaking in the last two. I've seen she's just left. There we go. She's back.
Brilliant.
Over to you, Paul.
Thank you.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Natasha. How are you?
Fine, thank you. All right?
Yes, good, thank you. Good. So is it just yourself?
Just myself, yes.
Just yourself. Okay, brilliant. Let's start then. If you don't mind, with telling me a bit about yourself. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm the associate principal for a special needs school in Greater London, Northwest London. We've got students with a range of physical abilities. Some of our students, you'd still be looking at developing gross motor skills, and a lot of what we do in PE at the moment is also, we've just started Yotism at our school, because we think it's really good in terms of mindfulness for them, but also in terms of the gentle movements for some of them and their physical abilities that they have, or the limits that they may be facing and the challenges with their physical disabilities. Yeah, that's us essentially.
Okay, that's excellent. What age range are your young people?
7 to 19.
7 to 19. Okay, that's really good to know. So, just a brief bit about me. I'm Paul, obviously. I am a former head teacher. I was an early years and infant head, and turned around a failing school by paying my inexperienced teaching staff to go and sit in other schools. We quadrupled standards in 2 years, and during that period of time, I was looking for a technology that would enable me to do that cheaply and efficiently, enable my inexperienced team, they were all NQTs and RQTs basically, to watch and learn from other teachers. And it didn't exist, so I did it analog, and I paid them to get in the cars, and it worked. But I kind of looked around at technology and thought, actually, if you took the principles of video learning and applied it to teaching, if you can encourage teachers and support staff to share video content that they've created and do it in a safe and entirely appropriate way, then you get professional development opportunities for teaching staff. Over the last 7 years that I've been working on this, I can't believe it's 7 years, but over that period of time, it's iterated into becoming a single place where a school can work together, schools can work collaboratively with other schools, and teachers can access quality teaching and learning resources from mainstream schools, from special schools, from deaf schools. We've just started working with our first hospital school at Queen's Medical Centre, where they are looking at creating teaching resources for some of their young people who are in for treatments, etc., but also for their young people who are sectioned for mental health issues, those kinds of things, creating teaching and learning resources for their learners and then sharing them, and personalisation of teaching. So I'll I'll share my screen. I'll do a quick demo. I want it to be personalized to you. So if I'm showing you something that's not relevant, please tell me. If you've got any questions, obviously just shout out and we'll take it from there. So UTeachMe is every member of staff in the school gets a UTeachMe account. So if they're working with young people, they get an account if the school wants them to have it, and the school leadership team can configure that account to precisely how that member of staff works. So, for example, in my old school, I would have said, I want teachers and support staff to be able to upload video content, but I only want teachers to send video content out to learners. And my midday supervisors, they're not going to upload video content. So all of that is very quickly configurable so that midday supervisors can watch and learn from other teachers and staff in other schools. Support staff can contribute, but only teachers can send videos to learners. So everything's configurable and it's quick and easy to do. And everybody can then go and search for video content made in their own school and made in other schools. So we're working with PMLD schools and ASD schools at the moment, and they are creating video content, which some of it they share, others of it they say, actually, no, this is just for our school. And so every member of staff can search for content made in mainstream schools. So we've got special schools who are taking teaching content from mainstream schools and using it to push on the academic progress of some of their students. And then we've also got special schools sharing content with other special schools and sharing that knowledge and expertise, etc. So if we search for SEND content, you can see video content that is covering early years, English, math, science, art and design. So these are teachers working in special schools, creating maths resources, etc. We're accredited by AFP, which means that the entire subscription can be paid for out of Sport Premium. And we've kind of got a slogan, which is pay for PE and get the rest for free, because PE content is just one facet of what we do, because we're aiming to be the one-stop shop for all curriculum knowledge and expertise in every subject, every concept, from nursery right the way through to the exit of A-levels in all settings. So we can look at all of the video content here. If we go back to specifically PE content, that at the moment, we haven't done any work creating PE content with the special schools. So there's no SEND PE content. We have worked with them to create key steps gymnastics routines, that they wanted to do gymnastics competitions with their young people. And so a video here, look, we put it together for the special schools, specifically for the special schools, so that they could send the video home to their young people to practice at home. This is a young person that we worked with. You get the idea. So this is a Key Steps 1 routine. All 3 routines for the competition they were entering are there. So any other school looking to do a Key Step 1 gymnastics competition can take those resources and it can then go and send them to the learners that are going to be participating. And this is the same principle, whether it's English, math, science, whether it's social skills and life skills, etc. But choose PE and the students that are in that class. So does every student need to see these videos? Is it a single student who needs to see it? Is it groups of students that you put together and target every child within the group, etc.? But if we send it to all people,
students.
Yeah, you see, I'm logged in over here as Matt Damon, so he's over here.
Right, okay.
So I have to send it to Matt Damon, but Robert De Niro, we can send it to Robert De Niro as well. But yeah. So if I
ask, so is it demonstration of aspects of a lesson? Is that what this this resource is?
No, it's a lot more than that. It basically is, there's songs on here, there's challenges on here, there's problems, there's demonstrations, there's explanations, whatever it is that will support learners in their learning. You can upload it. So when you upload a video, you can say, this is a video for in this subject, cover this concept for these learners, and it's, you know, a song.
Okay.
And because it's a safe platform, teachers do sing songs, share rhymes, those kinds of things, so that they can then send it and say, okay, an activity for you in the classroom on a device is practice this song. Or it can be sent home, I want you to practice this gymnastics routine, and so on. So there's about 7,500 videos that are in here at the moment, and we are employing specialist leaders of education to add content to that, specifically designed and made for YouTeachMe. We're working with partner organizations. So we've just started working with Progressive Sports, who are a nationwide organization of PE specialists. They are creating content that will appear in YouTeachMe in the coming weeks and months. And we're using school subscriptions to increase the quantity of content on YouTeachMe, because we want it to be every subject and every concept from nursery to the exit of A-levels for children of all needs, all abilities, all learning challenges, etc. That's a sizable task. So sending it to the students, if we send it to Matt Damon, videos I've made sit here, videos I've favorited sit here, and all I need to do is 2 clicks and share it. And that
this
video
could be used for remote learning and things as well. If
absolutely. You see, YouTeachMe was designed and built pre-COVID to enable pre-learning. So for those learners that are going to struggle to keep up in a lesson, send a video home the night before and say your homework is to have the pre-teaching experiences that will enable you to have the best chance of keeping up tomorrow. That's what it was designed for. Personalization for young people, complete parental involvement, because the parent can see precisely what and how their child's being taught in every subject, potentially every day, and therefore can get far more involved. The special schools that we've worked with, and if you have a look at the landing page of YouTeachMe, there's school leaders, teachers, support staff on there talking about their experiences of teaching pre-COVID, teaching during COVID, during the first lockdown, and the huge positive responses they had from their parent community, because they were sending specialists.
Paul, can I just interrupt for a second? Or just because I'm aware that we're going to run out of time, the session's going really, really quickly, and I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. Darn it! I'm sorry, I've completely forgotten what I was going to ask you.
Was it how much does it cost? Because that's a
no,
fairly common question.
Before the cost, no. Am I able to, on your website, be able to go and click into see the demos for different areas on the website?
No, because it's about interacting within the website. There is a button that you can book a bespoke 30-minute demo with me, and I'll take you through whatever it is that you want, because obviously this is just a flavour of it.
Yes.
So if you visit YouTeachMe.co.uk, you have a look and listen to the school leaders and teachers on what they're talking about, because they're talking about, you know, teaching and learning, professional development, engaging parents, etc. There's a book a demo slot on there. And if you book that in, it connects directly to my diary, and you can have as long as you like, as long as you need, to ask as many questions as you want.
Okay. That's probably something, because these sessions go quite quickly.
Yeah,
so
they do.
I will go to the website and have a look.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Is there? Yeah, no problem at all. I was told that there would be some kind of notification as the timing thing.
Yeah, something came up, yes, that said that it was a little while ago, 5 minutes. And I know usually the last 5 minutes goes very quickly. And that's why I interrupted you in case we suddenly just...
No, I appreciate it. Damien told us that we'd see it, but I haven't seen it. Seemingly every time I just get cut off.
Now, 1 minute remaining of the session. Yeah.
Right. 1 minute.
Okay.
So is there any other question you wanted to ask before
I think obviously there's follow-up that will be needed. So I'll go to the website and go and have a look, because I think it would be worthwhile booking a demo, and we could.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, my pleasure. Thank you very much, Natasha.
Thanks very much, Paul. Good luck with your next session. I think this session will be coming to close in a few short seconds. It's not very clear, is it? It's a little blue thing, basically, where it says underneath your presentation, you are presenting headline. It comes up under there saying you have 1 minute remaining, 5 minutes. Well, you have 5 minutes remaining, 1 minute remaining, and it will come up saying time imminently.
I really don't think it's coming up. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm a bit. It's difficult to see everything, but
yeah, it is.
It's fun
when you're presenting as well. It is particularly tricky. There you go. It's. Can you see that there? That is the end of session 3 of 5.
Yeah.
Okay, is it that one?
That's the one. That's the one.
Right,
So it comes
okay.
up like that. So it is very small. It's hard to notice when you're engaged in a conversation. But good luck with your next session anyway, Paul. We've got 2 more to go.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hello.
Hi there, Emma, Jen. Natasha is there. She shall be back shortly. So feel free to start as soon as she's in the room. I know it's appearing she's not, but I think she'll be back imminently.
Okay. Here she is. Hi, Natasha.
Hello, hi there.
No worries. I'm Jen Rouse from the Youth Sport Trust, and this is my colleague Emma, also from the Youth Sport Trust. We're here from we're a national charity. We've been in existence for the last sort of 25 years, really focusing on, as we've said there, believing in every child's future. So a little bit of opportunity for us to share with you some of our insight around the PE and school sport premium, and for Emma to talk a little bit more in detail around some of the solutions that might really help you and your school. So I'll hand over to Emma, but because it's just yourself, Natasha, feel free to answer ask any questions that you might want to as we go through.
Thank you.
Natasha.
Hi there, Emma.
Hello. Can I just start by asking sort of what your role is in school and what your priorities are right now? You know, what's maybe keeping you awake at night?
Oh, goodness. I don't think we've got enough time for that in the session. So I'm the associate principal at a special needs school, and we have students from 7 to 19 years old. We've got students with a range of physical and cognitive abilities. At the moment, I would say that most of our students I would say probably the majority of our school wouldn't be able to participate in sport in terms of team games and that kind of that nature. We do yotism at school at the moment, a lot and rebound therapy, because that's really necessary for some of our students in terms of that we've changed our PE curriculum quite a bit. Just due to the changing nature of the students in our school. What's keeping me up at night? I think what's keeping everybody up at night, remote learning, making sure that you know we've got things in place for our students who are attending, but also that we've got something that our students can access if we should suddenly have to switch to remote learning.
Perfect. No, that's really useful, because I will put all this through a special school lens and make it as relevant as possible in terms of some of the resources and programs. Okay, just to set this in context, just wanted to share we developed an evidence paper back in July, very much pulling together national governing bodies, sport organisations, charities, information around the impact of lockdown. Then we did a survey in September, Return to PE survey, looking at what the reality was for schools as pupils transition back. So this slide just represents some of that data. Left-hand side is the mental health picture, middle is the activity picture of physical health, and the right hand side is the educational outcomes. Obviously you will know the picture for your pupils. You're the expert of your pupils and what their experiences have been of lockdown, but you may be seeing some correlation to some of these stats on the screen in terms of what your young people have experienced. And very much it's around utilising the PE and Sport premium funding to support that recovery of your pupils, because we know the power that PE, sport and activity can. Just a reminder for you with the PE and Sport premium, obviously the guidance taken from the DFE, meaning that you should be using your premium to develop or add to your current PE activity and sport activities, but very much focused on this building capacity and capability, so that any investment that you make will not only benefit your current pupils, but also future pupils. So really that sustainability and that legacy piece, which year on year we don't know if the funding is going to be secured for the year ahead. So very much being confident that how you're investing is going to have that lasting legacy. And then just a reminder at the bottom of how the funding shouldn't be spent. And then just to recap on the 5 key indicators of the premium in which you will align your funding. You don't need to align funding equally across all 5 of these. You could invest in one particular key indicator if that was most needed for your context. But we have seen, predominantly we've seen that most schools tend to have spent in line with key indicators 4 and 5. This, sometimes is the area where schools are more, confident and they've had the foundations in place, so they've built on. But obviously key indicator 4 can also extend to your PE curriculum in terms of how you're broadening that experience for your pupils. But what we're saying here right now with the impact of coronavirus and the recovery is really we should be looking at key indicators 1, 2 and 3, and particularly key indicator 2 around connecting PE sport physical activity to that whole school piece and what your whole school priorities are, rather than seeing them as separate. So if we put that into a model, so a model from left-hand side that we've developed very much looks at, we know the pressure on schools and the expectation around progress and achievement, and that's still being there even after the result of lockdown. But we know that many of our pupils are not in a position, they're not ready to learn, and that well-being should be front and centre for them. So we know that when we do increase physical activity, we can see that connection to improve physical, social, and emotional well-being, and then we can see that improve behaviour and cognition. And you'll see this every day with your pupils in terms of the diversity and range of activities that you'll do with them to support their own development. And then on the right hand side, we just put this into the context of the little house and little schoolhouse, and laying the key foundations at the bottom, and then thinking about the different approaches and learnings that you can take, how that can then start to influence culture and ethos. And when we get there, that's when we do start to see some of those broader outcomes. So when you're thinking about your P premium, do think of it through that lens. Think about what objective you're setting in line with which key indicator, how are you implementing that, and what's the impact? Very much using that data and information to inform some of those decisions. And some of that data can be that broader whole school data. That doesn't need to be PE or sports specific data. It very much can be, it might be maths data, for example, but actually you're going to deliver a physical activity intervention to support that progress in maths, because that's what your pupils need. So do think about it through that lens when you're using your action planning. And just to share some of our free resources with you, because we're great to have some freebies, and also some of your funding with the premium, you don't need to invest. So you can still document this on your action plan, but it might be just how you're thinking about things differently. So there's a range of resources on there, free resources to schools. On that section, there is a section for special schools. Particular information of how we've translated the government guidance into good practice in schools. So obviously it's a minefield at the minute trying to go through all that and understand what you can do and how you should develop your risk assessments. Those resources do that for you. Then there's also some free activity cards. So you spoke about obviously remote learning. Some of the PE learning cards there can be adapted. We use them during lockdown to support activities at home. They all have video with them as well, and again there are some special school resources in there. There's all about our resource all about autism, which is a free resource, and again just supports some of those strategies, approaches and resources. So have a little look in there, like I say, look at those particular sections that will be most relevant for you. And then there's also a range of staff development resources there, so podcasts and webinars for your staff to listen into. And then our flagship programme within the primary space particularly, but we have just taken a special schools pilot with this, so I'll go into a little bit of detail on that. But the My Personal Best approach is very much centred on a life-skilled approach in PE. So we still recognise the physical development of pupils, but it also looks at the social, emotional and cognitive development and really shines a spotlight on that. So the training and resources very much look at the pedagogy of this and supporting teachers to feel confident to deliver a life skills PE curriculum. Then you have a number of teaching and learning cards to support the planning, implementation and assessment piece. But as part of the pilot, and I can probably give you access, well, if you purchase the primary resource, you get access to all of the online special school resources. So learner cards have been converted into Makaton to support more of that visual approach for the learners. There's plain planning templates so teachers can adapt and differentiate in line with what the needs of the pupils are. So although this speaks obviously in the primary space, the training and the resources that go with it very much support special schools to deliver this life skilled approach as well. Have you got any questions on that one? Because that's probably
that's the one that would probably interest. I was just, when you were talking about the visuals and the use of Makaton and to support communication and things, do you use visuals in the form of, you know, the symbols that often a lot of ASD young people use as well?
I believe, yes, I believe so. I will check that for you. We do have a inclusion lead at the trust, so all of the work in the space. So obviously, if you wanted any follow-up, you could definitely shoot, but I will check that for you.
So what's the cost of the primary package?
So the primary, just for the resource pack, is £62.50 plus VAT. Then you would need the training to bring it to life, obviously. So we have a pre-record training, which you can use as part of a staff meeting, or we have a 2-hour interactive training, which I'd always recommend because it's much more personalised then, and you can obviously ask the questions you want and things. So that training is £243 for our member schools. So I want to talk about membership because actually in the membership you do get the resource, so that might be a better option with some of the other things you'll get as well. Okay. Then just to touch on, and I'm not sure how relevant this will be because I've had some conversations with other special schools and they felt right now this wasn't something that necessarily maybe supported them as well, but this is just an online interactive platform to support planning, delivery and assessment in PE and really support that high quality PE development. But it's my personal best resource embedded within there, and then it has video footage to bring to life what that looks like. So it might be something, there's a free trial, so that might be something that would support your schools that you can look at with no commitment.
And sometimes, you know, even if it's not designed specifically for SEN, you when you watch something, you can find ways that it can be adapted because there might be a good framework or an idea, you know, and you just adapt it to and tweak it for your own setting.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there's a plethora of resources, so many sequences of learning on there as well. And they are just developing, so it's mainly primary focus, but they are just developing transition units for Key Stage 3 as well. So it's an ever-evolving platform and ever-developing. And then we have our athlete mentor side of things, so very much supporting that inspirational piece for young people. A range of different athletes from different backgrounds, able-bodied and disabled, who very much share their story and their journey. We can do that linked into events in school. They can act as mentors, but they also connected to some of our programs like Active in Mind and Get Exam Fit. So very much can utilise them in whatever works, I guess, for your context. So again, have a look on our website with some of the information there.
Okay.
Yeah, Decathlon, Natasha, are one of our national partners. You may know them as a high street retailer. They're one of Europe's, well, they are Europe's biggest sports retailer, but they've come into partnership with us. They do have a schools offer. So if you are looking to procure equipment and resources in terms of to support that curriculum or after school activity, I would recommend you have a look at them. Their equipment is very good quality, but also very good value. So some of your families will be able to access some of those equipment offers as well. And because they've come into partnership with us, for every school that does procure with Decathlon, they're committing to give us a profit donation back to the charity to enable us to continue the work that Emma's been talking about. So a great partnership that we've just established.
Okay.
And finally, the membership I spoke about. So just on the right hand side highlights what the membership aims to do in terms of different priorities for schools. Membership starts at £210 at core level, and in there you get the My Personal Best resource. You'll have access to the online special school side of that and the digital resources. You have a curriculum mapping guide. You have our curriculum blueprint, purpose of PE webinar, loads of different, also the coronavirus sort of return to school resource as well, with some units of PE ideas and how to align them to the needs of your pupils. So lots of resources and training in there, and then the membership gradually increases dependent on sort of what you're looking for, but also really connects you to our network. And we do have lead special schools, head teacher ambassadors and PE catalysts who very much can share good practice in things. So just as important to sort of have you connected into to good practice as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Natasha.
Thank you.
straight into the next session.
Hello.
Do you want to go, Lee?
Yep, sure. I just had to change my headphones. They ran out of battery, so hopefully there's not too much of an echo. Should be okay as long as I'm doing most of the talking, I guess. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Hello, my name's Lee Denness and I'm a co-founder of StepIts and a former Key Stage 2 teacher. With me is Andy, who is also a co-founder of StepIts. Okay. So children are spending less time moving and more time sitting, and this has been heightened recently due to COVID-19. You know, while children were off school, they spent less time in PE, less time during break and lunch times, and less time moving around. This type of sedentary behaviour has a long-term impact on children's health and happiness, and the government really wants schools to share this responsibility with parents to ensure that children grow up to be healthy and happy. So StepIt's been developed to reduce this sedentary behaviour and increase physical activity sort of throughout the school day. You may have guessed already what StepIts is by the large number on the screen. StepIts is an activity tracker, much like a Fitbit. Designed for primary school, so it has a number of different extra features that you wouldn't expect to find in those. So the two things that we want to bring to your school really with StepIts is to provide you with sort of valuable data that you can use and to increase children's motivation and participation. So the data reporting can help target children that need the most help, or you can use it to sort of prove to Ofsted or prove to people that visit your school that you're doing the right thing and interventions or coaches can be having an impact. We already know that smartwatches motivate adults, and StepIts actually focus on motivating children. Particularly, we want to ensure that the least active are the most motivated. So they're the ones that generally are not as engaged in sports, and getting in extra coaches or buying brand new sports equipment may not be something that gets them as motivated as their peers. And as you can see, since our launch, we have counted over 113 million steps. And this is enough to walk around Earth nearly 6 times. The StepIts, we feel, is very affordable. I'm going to get into the price so you have a roundabout figure to begin with. And a class set of 30 can be purchased for around £720. So that's a fraction of the sports premium funding, and as a great investment for the school. It actually comes in a lot cheaper than a lot of the popular trackers or even those activity trackers that are designed for children already. So 30 minutes of activity per day. So this is the government expectation that they're putting on the schools. And currently, it would be very hard for you to decide how many of your children are achieving this goal. So we want to share with you the benefit that the data can bring to your school. So it can look incredibly good when you can actually show who is or isn't achieving this 30 minutes a day, something that not many schools are doing right now. You can tell, you know, people maybe what interventions you're running and the sort of impact that it's having, and actually have direct correlation in what's going on. The data can also be used to sort of validate the impact of maybe external coaches you're getting in, and prove that your sports premium spending is making an impact and it's being spent thoughtfully. I also want to share with you how StepIts has motivated children that have been using it. So this is the first quote I want to share with you. It was good to work together as a class. A very positive quote. This comes from a year 6 low active boy. So all these quotes are actually coming from those that are low activity. It would be something that you would really hope that they say to visitors that visit the school. You know, it's very positive messaging. And the reason I picked this is it shows that they see the steps they're making are all contributing towards a class challenge. So in StepIts, the teacher can set challenges for the class, and these can be related to their topics. For example, you can have a challenge where the class are doing a tour of Roman Britain. So their steps will be counting up towards moving to different places around Roman Britain. and then maybe the teacher can share learning experiences with the children as they reach particular locations. Learn about a certain type of fort or city, the roads, and we think this creates very memorable learning experiences for the children. The next quote I would like to share. We asked our teachers to do an extra daily mile, and sometimes we did 2 if they let us. So again, this is from a low activity year 4 boy. And this shows how actually the children want to do more activity. And what we've done there is we've actually created class leaderboards. So the classes can compete against another class to do the most steps. This is opposed to individual leaderboards where we didn't want really a focus to be on those either most active or least active, either building those ones that are already active up or putting those down that are the least active, which are really the ones that we want to target. So again, the teachers as well, you know, they can sometimes be potentially guilty of not getting their children out enough. And it may actually give teachers the motivation because they actually want to be the best class as well as the children want to be the best class in the school. So they want to get as many steps as possible. You know, instead of maybe taking a book out to read when they finish up lesson early, they might take them to the playground earlier for break time and get them to do a few laps to increase their activity. And finally, a last quote I wanted to share is about how an individual thought that about what they were doing, and instead of walking, they decided to jog around on the spot. Again, showing how Step-Its can change the behaviour of children quite quickly, and they're thinking about getting themselves more active, something they wouldn't have done without Step-Its. All these quotes here were actually collected by us by the University of Cambridge, who were using Step-Its for particular studies around getting children more active. That's how we managed to get hold of some of these great quotes here. I'm going to show you a quick video, just how, you know, you can see what this device looks like. It has no device, it has no buttons, screens, or anything like that. So it's quite unlike Fitbit in that respect. And it clips just onto the waistband, and it very much can tuck under the jumper and remain out of sight, out of mind. You know, it's not going to cause a distraction in the lessons because they more or less just forget about that they've got it on during the lesson time. And it also means that they're not going to be sort of waving their arms around thinking that it's going to improve the number of steps they do. They're not even going to know whether it's any sort of impact either. So what the teachers can do is this device will stream data directly to a web app, which you can access on the URL below. So once the teachers go to that, this is the screens, the sort of screens that they'll be able to see. So earlier on, I mentioned leaderboards and what sort of impact they could have. You don't have to have, you know, 6 classes running. You could even share the devices between different classes and see who does the most steps for a particular week. So the leaderboards in the top left, you can see there, year 3 are right up on top. And that could even be something, if you did have more than one set, you could celebrate with them the most active class, either weekly or termly, and it gives them something to sort of strive for every week. Top right again is something that we mentioned earlier, and that's all about the data. So you can see steps over time, how many steps they're doing per day based on different time ranges. And also there on the top, very top right corner, right up here, where it says achieve 30 minutes of MVPA. So over that 2-week time period I've selected there, I can see what percentage of children and what days they're actually achieving that goal, which is a very respectable number. If you do provide us with your local authority, or you are interested, you can even see how that number compares to your local authority and the schools around you. You can even share this particular page with children in your class. It's something sometimes they'd like to see, particularly the older children that can make sense of it. And that activity heat map, they can actually pinpoint exactly where PE may have been, when their breaks and lunch times are, and when they might have done some additional activity throughout those 2 weeks. Bringing your attention down to the center bottom screen, you can see that this actually drills down to individual trackers. So we don't collect information like children's names. This would be something that you can manage yourself if you wanted to. So you can then see which children are achieving 100% moderate to vigorous activity, but also probably more importantly, those that are not achieving 30 minutes of activity, and then you can perhaps do things to target that. And then another thing I touched on earlier, which was the challenges. So I mentioned about the Roman challenge, walking across Britain. We have a number of challenges that the teachers can just get stuck right into. But then we also have a way that teachers can create their own custom challenges. So based on whatever learning they're doing, you know, maybe they're doing the Egyptians and they want to do a walk up the Nile or up and down the Nile, and perhaps visit different places in Egypt. They can also create their own challenges there, specifying how many steps they want to do and what they're going to be doing on the way. So I want to just more or less finish off with leaving you with some quotes. So these are some schools that are using us with some, again, very positive messages. So Year 6 in Mepham Academy have been using us, or more than just Year 6 in Mepham Academy. PASS actually have been using us in a number of their schools that they go in. They're a sports company. And also Meldrift there, that's actually a quote from a child talking about how it's changed their behaviour too again. I'm going to finish off more there, and I just wonder if you got any questions at all.
I suppose I was just thinking about how it links in with home, and they obviously take these things home with them.
We wouldn't recommend taking them home with them, no, because
Okay.
the issue that we'll probably find there is you probably won't get all 30 back.
I won't get it back, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do recommend they stay at school, and they can actually record sort of activity if you do any before or after school clubs as well.
Yeah. Okay. I suppose we had a special needs school, so I suppose the difficulty for us would be not a lot of ours. I suppose it's just about differentiating the targets, I suppose, because they would be much less physically active just because of the difficulties that they may have with their physical abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. Andy, do you think I covered everything there?
Yeah, I mean, I would say for a sort of special needs school, they can actually be attached to a wheelchair, and if they're put onto the wheel of a wheelchair, then it can record sort of motion that way.
Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to get my head around how, you know, how we could use something like this in our school. I know a lot of our students because they know their parents are very much into step counting and things, they're very aware of it as well. But it would be quite a small portion of our students who would be using it really in terms of counting steps and physical fitness. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, but thank you anyway.
Thank you for joining us today. I hope it's something that's interesting for you.
Thanks a lot.